friends, it's Andrea, and today I'm working in the Blessings or Lessons, a monthly devotional kit. I have decided to do a pocket page, so I've got some paper cut out from the Whatever is Lovely collection. I have the photo that is my inspiration for the day one prompt, and then I also am just grabbing the page protector that I'm going to use, which is a 4-up of 3x4s. So it's going to be all 3x4 cards here that I'm going to work on using the stamps and the cutouts from this devotional, as well as some additional illustrated faith stickers, letter stickers, and some enamel dots. So I am really loving this devotional. So day one is about human connections, and I love the topic because we are a very internet friendly world, and I do think that what Stephanie is saying is, are we still making human connections even though we've got this great, amazing social network kind of thing available to us? You know, is that harming us, or what's that doing for us? So I personally referred back to something that's very important to me, that's new to my life, which is a friendship. And I'm just going to kind of take you through how I thought about using this and how I was inspired to use this photo and this friendship as my topic for this week. So the things that I kind of took from this devotional are, how wonderful the internet is. I mean, it's a wonderful place. It shares information. It shows us amazing and funny stories. It inspires us on a regular. I mean, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those things, super inspiring. It connects long-distance friends. It keeps local peeps close without having to have the weekly lunch dates to keep everybody updated on your family and your kids and accomplishments and things like that. It's a wonderful thing, especially for those of us who may prefer to keep some distance at times. It allows me personally to be social on my own time, with my own rules and my own comforts. And it, kind of ends up being a perfect happy medium. It's kept me connected to people I know, but has also awarded me with so many amazing friends that I've never even met in real life. I would consider these people, and, there's about 5, 6, 7 people that I could name off the top of my head that I consider amazing friends, and I've never ever met them. And these are people who dig the same kind of stuff as me and who inspire me on a regular basis. But what happens when one of those friends you've never met wants to drive with you to a creative workshop that's 3 hours away? Well, as an E/ISTJ, if you know the Briggs-Myers personality test, my first reaction is I analyze how it's all going to work. Will we listen to music? What time are we going to meet? How will the conversation even start? Will we run out of things to talk about? Will it be awkward? Will there be a cup holder for my water? What if she doesn't like me? But my need to connect, and as humans, we have that natural desire, and as my need to connect and chat. I spoke to God, and He's like, I'm going to work this out. It's going to be fine. You need to do this. And He totally did. That car ride led to such a wonderful and natural connection that honestly could not have flourished over Instagram alone. And that I'm super grateful for meeting my friend Casey, who is a wonderful person, mom, friend. She loves Bible journaling. She loves planning. And if you want to follow her, because she's very inspiring to me, and she's just a great overall person, her Instagram handle is Cultivating Casey. And just her Instagram handle alone drew me to her instantly. So And at this point, that workshop that we went to was actually an illustrated faith workshop, and it completely changed me. I loved that experience. And now Casey and I text nearly every day about scrappy and crafty things and advice and inspiration and to celebrate good news with each other. She's just my kind of person, and she lives 10 minutes away from me. We've hung out in person since then, and what I am grateful for is that I made the decision to say yes, and that she made the decision to ask, because I thought about it, but she ended up asking first if we wanted to go together, and obviously it made sense, and I'm so glad, because, what if I decided to drive alone? What if we just met there and never really got to have that real get to know you conversation that allowed us to already feel connected by the time we got there? I can't even imagine that, because I already felt like we were so much closer than, closer than two people who just barely met should really be. But the workshop was so much more comfortable knowing that I already had this connection with her, and that we weren't spending our worship time and our learning time, still with the get to know you kinds of questions and conversations. So I was super glad that God laid it on her heart and on mine that we needed to take this drive together. So she's turned out to be one of those human connections that I just am super glad that is formed already. So I'm going to move stuff around from what you see here, but some of the things I've already done, which I kind of wanted to talk about the technique, but I talked too long about my story, were the mason jars. So just real quickly, I just stamped them with the black ink, and then I fussy cut them around, and then I used a light and a dark version of two different watercolors to just, basically give what I wanted to illustrate was, two friends having, a glass of tea, or just sharing something together. So I thought that those two mason jars would be perfect. And then I'm obviously going to glue them down, and you'll see kind of what else I do as far as getting the straws to look as though they are really inside the jar. So we'll go over that. And here I'm just really moving a lot of stuff around because I'm unsure of the color consistency and how I really want to layer. And sometimes it's hard when I get things laid out and I have an idea of all the supplies that I want to use and all the little trinkets and cutouts. I get feeling like I have to use them all because they go so perfectly together. But sometimes I do just have to let them go. And so that's kind of what I'm pondering at this point. And since I couldn't really decide before, I am making a decision now. And I am going to use some of the big and bold alpha stickers, but unfortunately I don't have the stickers that I need to spell the word sweet. So I'm cutting out the backing and I'm using the sticker sheet as a stencil. So I have this little, it's not a verse, but it's more of a saying, a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. So that's what I want as kind of my title. And I'm going to put that on the pink paper. So I'm trying to make it a little bit messy, and the way that it ended up coming out makes my symmetrical heart a little nutso, but I'm going with it because it does look really cute when even though things aren't lined up and they're wonky. So what I did was, after I traced them all, I went back over with my pen and just kind of gave it some extra little lines to make it a little bit messier along some of the downstrokes. So that way it just felt like it was supposed to be kind of messy, and I'm getting a little more used to that. Going out of comfort zone. See, this is all a good thing. Going out of comfort zones, you end up getting what you need. So I'm also just using a brush pen to do some of the brush scripty kind of letters. And then I'm also going to use a different font sticker at the bottom to for the word soul. So you'll see that coming up here in a second. But of course, everything has to be done in pencil first, just to make sure that things fit where they need to fit and that I don't end up running out of room toward the end. So that is my go-to process every time I do, when I'm doing different kinds of size fonts and different kinds of stickers, I do a little bit of prepping just to make sure that everything's going to fit. So I put down the words, and thankfully I had all the letters that I needed. And then I'm just going to outline them in black so that they kind of, they don't look so on their own. So that's next. The final piece to this card is I'm going to use one of the little labels to add the verse that this sentiment is really drawn from. So I'm just going to write it and glue it down, and we're going to call that card complete. And the next thing we're going to do is work on getting those straws to look like they are inside of the mason jars. So you're going to need an X-Acto knife, and I use a small cutting board. So I'm just kind of fussing with making the cuts. So I'm making the cuts, 3 spots. So they're going to be on top and bottom of the rim of the jar, and then behind or on top of and below the water line, but the front water line. So make your cuts on either side of those things, and then you just basically shimmy, the thinner side. It kind of works better with the thinner side. And you just shimmy them inside to get them placed right, and then it looks like the straws are actually in there. And it's cool because it adds a little bit of dimension. And on the photo, what I've decided to do is just keep it really simple. And I've turned the flag upside down because it wasn't fitting really anywhere else, and I didn't want to take away from the photo too much. And then that pink verse is actually one of the business card sized verse cards that come in the kit. So I just cut it down to a 2x2 and then backed it with a darker contrast paper. And from there, I added an enamel dot and wrote our names and used the date stamp. And then that is it. That's how the page turned out. And I hope that you've been inspired to create your own documentation of a good friendship of yours or something new, a new connection that you've made, and that you're listening to the way that God is leading you to make those really special human connections. So we will talk really soon. Bye, guys.